Hey everybody, it's Maxine Taylor with another edition of my Trumpology report. Let me get this screen straightened out here a little bit. And today we're going to talk about Representative Tom Price, who has been appointed by Donald Trump as the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, and whom the media has accused of being involved with insider trading. We do not have a birth time for Tom Price, but I do have his solar chart, and I thought it would be very interesting to look at that briefly and then see what he triggers in Trump's chart, because we do have an accurate time for Trump. So this is the solar chart for Tom Price, and I'm just if and when we get a birth time for him, I'll be able to give you the exact chart, but for now the solar chart says a great deal. Look at the 10th house of career and public image, and I know my handwriting is atrocious, and even those of you who study astrology might have trouble reading what I've written, so I'll translate. First of all, he has his south node in the 10th house. The south node is that area of life, wherever it falls, that we have mastered in past lives. And if we spend too much time there, we are actually weakened. So the 10th house of publicity, career, public image, leadership, he's already mastered that. And this can be detrimental to him if he spends too much time in the limelight. And I think that's exactly what has happened since his nomination. Now, Uranus, the planet of rebellion, is also up in the 10th house, conjunct Jupiter, which expands anything it touches. So he's really a rebel. Now, who else do we know who has Uranus in the 10th house? Donald Trump. And even though this is a solar chart, they're both publicly rebels, incredibly rebels. And with Jupiter conjunct Uranus, Tom Price is a super rebel. Now, we don't know how this is going to shake out in the next few days during his hearings, but this guy is definitely a rebel. He's innovative in his public image, and that is what the world sees of him. Pluto, the planet of control or transformation, is in his 11th house of groups and friends. And so wherever Pluto is where we want to be in control, or where we can actually at some point in time transform things. So in the 11th house of group activities like Congress, with Pluto in his 11th house, Tom Price is either a controller or a transformer. I leave that to you to decide. Look at his first house. Now, with a solar chart, the sun is in the first house, obviously because we are all ego-centered. I use a 6 a.m. time, but I actually just put 0 degrees on all of the cusps and then fill in the planets. Some people like to use a noon chart. Whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you is super. Okay. With the sun in the first house, it is me first. I am the center of my life, is what the sun in the first house says for everybody walking this planet. Neptune, the idealist, is very close to the sun. And so when we have Neptune in the first house, we can be all things to all people. We can select a role that we want to play and move into it. In other words, there can be a certain amount of divine discontent, there can be divine inspiration, or there can be wishful thinking and make-believe, because Neptune can go from the highest to the lowest, as all of the planets can. But with Neptune, it is very often like trying to grab a handful of smoke. There is mystery, there can be deception. In the first house, it can be self-deception, and whatever we put out there is what the world sees. So we decide what role we're going to play, we move into it, and we act the part. Look at his second house of money. He's got 3 planets there. So money is going to be incredibly important to him. And when the information about insider trading became public, I thought, well, this is very interesting because he has Saturn, the planet of responsibility or fear, depending on where the person is coming from. Responsibility is to respond to your abilities. If the person is highly evolved, they're going to do that, and they're going to take charge of their money. If they're not, they're just going to be afraid of not having enough. Saturn rules real estate and government. There it is in his second house. Mercury, what we think about and talk about, is in his second house. So he puts his mind on his money. And Venus, the lesser benefic that blesses us, blesses all things in the area it falls, blesses his money. So he will make money. He has made money. Venus's blessings, so to speak, indicate that. And Saturn is a structure, and so he can actually build a financial structure. Look at his fourth house. He has the North Node there. This is the area of greatest fulfillment and success. Home, family, real estate, and all things providing emotional fulfillment. Now, in his dealings with his family, with Mars in the fourth house, his family comes first. He can also make money through real estate. Isn't that interesting? And this would tie in very nicely with Donald Trump, and I'm going to compare the charts in just a second. Since we don't have a birth time on him, we do not know what degree his moon is in. And the moon is the fastest moving planet. It can move anywhere from just under 12 degrees to up to 15 degrees a day. And so the moon is either in his fifth house of gambling, taking a chance, children, fun and games, or a lesser possibility, the sixth house of work, health, and service. Okay, what I want to do now is show you what Tom Price triggers in Trump's chart. Remember, Trump is going to be taking office in 2 days, and the people that he has appointed are people that he has chosen. He likes them. They serve him in some way, shape, manner, or form. So here we go. Tom Price will take his 10th house planets and look at what it does to Trump's 11th house. Tom Price's South Node, this is a karmic indicator of past lives, sits on Trump's Mercury. So he gives, Mercury is our conscious mind. So this, with Mercury in Trump's 11th house, he thinks in terms of groups, we know that. He thinks in terms of being a friend to all. With Tom Price's South Node on his Mercury, there is a drain there that is a negative, traditionally a negative placement, because it takes rather than gives. It can drain the person. So while he fires up Trump's mind, it may not be something that would be very beneficial to Trump. So we're going to keep on looking. Tom's Uranus, the great rebellion, and Jupiter, the great expander, sits on Trump's Saturn and Venus. Uranus on his Saturn. Saturn is traditional and responsible, and Saturn says, I am the leader wherever I am. So with Saturn in Trump's 11th house, he is the leader wherever he is. And Tom Price shakes that up. He kicks it up 10 notches. He busts it loose. So there can be a rebellion that he brings about on the part of Trump with his groups, his standing in groups. With Uranus, Tom Price's Uranus on Trump's Venus, this is a very exciting placement, very often seen in the charts of people who are socially involved. Now, this can bring excitement to love, rebellion to love, innovation regarding love. And Jupiter sitting on Trump's Venus, the two benefics right on top of each other, indicate a very lovely friendship. And so it's a very different friendship. And it can cause Trump to change his path in the middle of going down the road. Very, very interesting. Sort of like switching horses in midstream. Now, Tom Price's Pluto, the planet of control or transformation, sits on Trump's Mars. Mars behind the ascendant is a fighter. It always wants to fight. And we have seen that in Trump. He's a fighter. Somebody said he's a scrapper. It's more than a scrapper. It's a fighter. And Pluto, Tom Price's Pluto there, controls that. It also controls Trump's ascendant. And so there is a very strong behind-the-scenes control factor from Tom Price to Trump. Now, Price's sun, the center of your life, sits on Trump's Neptune. Neptune is the dreamer in his second house of money. And so Price can, once again, bring, shed light on Trump's visions of sugar plums when it comes to money. Tom Price's sun lights up Trump's Jupiter. Jupiter in the second house is abundance of money, abundance of things. And so Tom Price's sun really lights up the financial arena for Trump. Now, look at this third house. Tom Price's Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury sit in Trump's third house of communication, correspondence, transportation, his conscious mind. Neptune, the dreamer, sits on Trump's Jupiter in his second house, which means that Price can introduce all kinds of dreams, visions of sugar plums, to Trump when it comes to money. Can this be divine inspiration? Yes. Can it be self-deception? Yes. Can it be deception in general? Yes. We never know with Neptune. Time will tell. Tom Price's Saturn, reality, responsibility, sits in Trump's third house. And so he is going to take Tom Price very seriously. Tom Price is going to have him speaking more traditionally. Now, remember, the rebel is alive and well up here, but Trump's communication when he's with Tom Price is more serious, more traditional. He will speak as the leader. Tom Price's Mercury in the third house gives Trump all kinds of ideas. And Tom Price's Venus, the planet of love and money and all things good. The two benefics are Jupiter and Venus. So Venus sits right at the nadir of Trump's chart. This cusp right here deals with home, family, real estate, emotional fulfillment. And so there is a deep feeling of friendship, of love, of caring that Price triggers in Trump as relates to home, family, and real estate. Now look at the fifth house. This is the house of gambling, taking a chance. It's fun and games, it's kids, it's sex, it's all things enjoyable, as well as artistic ventures. However, this does not trigger necessarily an artistic venture. Price's North Node helps Trump speculate, helps him deal with children, his own children, helps him enjoy himself. Price's Mars, very, very powerful. Let me see something here. I'm looking at, okay, yes. Price's Mars is 21 Capricorn. Trump's vertex is 22 Capricorn. There is a very close tie, very close orb between these two, between Mars and Tom Price's Mars and Trump's vertex. The vertex is the karmic role in life. Wherever Mars is, that's what we fight for, that's what we fight with, that's what we throw ourselves into. And so Tom Price triggers Trump's karmic role in life, which is to take a chance, to gamble. The fifth house is sex. It's fun of all types, and that is what Tom Price triggers. Now, because we do not have a birth time for Tom Price, his moon is either in Trump's sixth house of work, health, and service, or his seventh house of one-on-one relationships. The moon is change. The moon is what we are emotionally drawn to, instinctively drawn to. And somebody said, oh, well, does that mean that Tom Price would bring more jobs to the country? We're not talking about the United States chart. We are talking about Trump's chart. And so Tom Price can bring about a change in Trump's employee situation, in Trump's work situation, or in Trump's relationships with other people. And it's incredibly frustrating to me as an astrologer not to have a birth time to give you exact positions. But, you know, we work with what we've got. So that's the latest Trumpology report. There may be more today. I hope you're enjoying them. And I hope you'll join me next time. And once again, we take a look at all things Trump. Until then, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours, and may the stars shine brightly on your country and the United States of America.